Previous to Cityworks, we didn't have a real reporting structure. We didn't really have any way to track work in the field. We didn't have any way to historically look at work that we had performed on certain assets, or any assets really. It pretty much lived in the operator's head or in the maintenance technician's head, and we would have to rely on his memory to say, oh yeah, we were out there 3 months ago to fix that same issue. Now that we have Cityworks and the reporting capabilities that come along with it through the work order management system, we can easily identify all of our assets, how many times we've been to each asset in a given time frame, what we've done to each asset within that given time frame, and then make capital decisions around possible replacement of that asset. You know, you can only go out to work on a pump so many times before you decide it's time to replace it.
One huge benefit to Cityworks is that we had visibility on understanding where our resources were being used as it relates to operating a utility. And so what we gained visibility on through the implementation of Cityworks was utilization rates. I could understand who on my staff was 100% utilized, who was maybe 40% utilized, who was sitting in a truck for 3 hours a day not doing work, but Cityworks would provide me that visibility through their work order management system of understanding where the resources were going from a manning perspective. And that was huge to help not only drive the maximization of your staff, but then also understand what kind of work they were doing. And so as it relates to data management, we also gained insight into what assets were really consuming our time, consuming our resources. And so having that data gave us the ability to make decisions that would better operate your utility.
Global Water is a growth company. Early on we were growing very, very rapidly, and it was difficult to have the visibility into our day-to-day field activities. So when we deployed Cityworks, this gave us the opportunity to have a better understanding of the scope and breadth of all the activities that were ongoing. Because without that, you can't properly budget, resource, and it's actually even worse than that. You can't meet your primary mandates as a utility, which is compliance and public health and safety, and of course it's very costly as well. You basically bleed money if you don't have good visibility and good eyes on what is occurring out in the field. With the regulated division being a Global Water company, all of my regulated utilities, for which there are a dozen, use the Fathom platform. They're actually developed inside of our utilities, and that's really the power of them. They were designed for utility use. We use them every day, and now they're sold as an external service. But my charge in using the Fathom platforms is to continue to advance them, and things that we are attempting to do, or have done in many cases, is integrate them with other systems. Of course, primarily it's integrated with GIS and Cityworks. Now we're also integrating it with our customer information system so that we can do automated field service orders. And we're also integrating it with our advanced meter reading systems. And what we're going to do is actually design and implement what we call expert systems, where we take the continuous data that comes from some of those other technologies like SCADA and our meter reading systems and analyze it continuously and set limits within that data. And if those limits are ever triggered, they'll automatically generate a work order in our Cityworks system that goes directly out to the appropriate party, either be a maintenance technician responding to an alarm in our SCADA system, or a field customer service rep responding to look at why an AMI module is no longer reporting to the meter reading system.
If a customer comes in and pays a bill while they're out there doing that work, that updates for the operator's work order list. And so it updates on the map that they're actually responding to out in the field, and then gives them the ability to not disconnect that customer, thus providing better customer service to the community. But then it also saves the time of the individual to not have to go back out and reconnect that individual 3 hours later, realizing that they'd already been paid. Cityworks, as well as the suite of Fathom products, it helps foster a culture of analysts, where people are asking more questions. Because not only is data more available to the management staff, but that same data is available to the newest operator in the field. And so they too can start to see patterns and trends and understanding where resources may be going that they shouldn't be, or seeing that certain preventative maintenance hasn't been done as often as it should. And so it's no longer just your supervisors, your superintendents, or your management staff that may be asking the question, why is this no longer being done? You're starting to foster a culture where everybody has that visibility and everybody at all levels starts to ask those questions. And so I see that as a benefit and in really kind of shifting the culture of what a utility may normally operate as.